Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me once again. This is the companion analysis bass lesson video to last week's late bar video. It is late right now, for a weeknight anyway. I do have a day job, so I'm going to try to get through this. However, I also need to relax a little, so join me with your favorite beverage. Let's get this party started. And today I'll be enjoying this puppy, Sullivan's Maltings Irish Ale. So it's kind of got like a Guinness vibe, maybe a little more roasty than a Guinness. Let's not spill it. Oh yeah, well, look at that. Let's let that settle. This is going to be one of those life lesson sort of things. Also one of those things where we have to constantly tell ourselves to trust our instincts. What I'm referring to is I got something wrong last week. I may or may not redo that video. You know, I've talked about this before. And that kind of bugs me. You know, the thought that somebody might learn it incorrectly based on just having watched that one video, and maybe they don't see this video and they just keep playing it that way, and oh well, a guy on the internet showed me how to do it that way. Anyhow, before I ramble on and on about that, let's try to stick to the format of these analysis videos. We're going to take a look at the chord structure first. This is going to be pretty quick because there aren't many chords. It's not very complicated. There is something very interesting though that one of you pointed out. So why don't we go over here to all the cameras. There's a hint right there. You'll hear Nick's string synth line, and it's just going. And that's outlining the chords. It's A minor, F, G, E minor. Now, the way I hear this song, I would just simplify that and play it this way. And that kind of turns it into A minor. And if you just hold that, then it's an F major 7th. And then G major. And if you just hold that, that becomes an E minor 7th. I don't think it sounds correct if you go. It sounds a little clunkier to me, and I don't hear that vibe when I listen to the song. Regardless, those are the chords. A, F minor, G, E minor. Very simple. Now, when it goes into the chorus, it goes to D minor. Even though it kind of sounds major-ish, it goes to D minor, then to a G major, and then a B flat, and a C. That's it. And you know, we go back and forth between the verses. The middle part is even simpler. It's just A minor to F. So you just play the first two chords of the verse chords. That's really all there is to the harmonic movement in the song. So this is the video from last week, and what I want to focus on is a comment way down here. We're going to look at a couple of comments actually. Positive Crusader made a great comment, and they said, as I'm sure you're aware, this bass line plus chorus melody has its origin in X disco. Let's play a little bit of this and you'll probably hear what Positive Crusader meant. So right off the bat, the feel is kind of there. But this is what's really interesting. Check this out. Right? Those are the chords right there. B flat to C. So there you go. Positive Crusader is absolutely correct. This song is most definitely the origin for late bar. All right, let's go back to my video and look at two more comments. So I kind of posed a challenge, which was, is this Duran's shortest song? There were a couple of Secret October comments, and I thought that might win, but then Coos72 came up and said Shotgun at only 55, 56 seconds long. And I'm going to say that's the winner. I re-listened to it, and for me, it qualifies. It is a song, not just an interlude or a short little instrumental or anything like that. It's a song. It's a super short song. And here we go. My old pal Garrett. Hello, Garrett. AKA Metal Gopher. So he says, you and I hear different rhythm for the second half of the A section. And I knew exactly what he was talking about, because this goes back to the should have listened to your instincts. I knew that the verse part wasn't as slinky as I was hearing it, but I just couldn't get it. It was just evading me. Even though I had, stuck it in Pro Tools and tried to isolate the bass with isotope, rebalancer, and this and that, I just couldn't hear it. I couldn't get good enough isolation on it. So let's start here. I'm going to play just a section of the isolated bass pumped up a bit. So this is not me playing. This is John's isolated bass pumped up a little bit, so you can hear what I had to work with. I was trying to figure this out. Here we go. Now I can hear it clearly. There are two really tricky parts. Okay, now let's get into bass. Let's change our camera setup. The first is that upon first listen, you might think that the bass is doing something like this. I was playing it this way while I was learning it, kind of knowing it wasn't correct, but I just want to illustrate how learning can evolve. I kind of heard it like this. Bump, ba-da-ba-dee. It doesn't do that. If you really listen, it doesn't do that many notes. It doesn't go do 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 dee. It goes. So it's A, then B, C, F. But the rhythm is so tricky. I'll attempt to show you how the timing goes and a way in which you can kind of throw a little extra note in there to help you along. What I'm going to do here is employ the help of my little S drum here and try to listen for this. Try to listen for the duk doo dee, bump, boop boop bee. We're just going to play that over and over. So it's bump, boom, boom, bam, bump, boom, boom, bam. Now the timing is really tricky. So one thing you can do is to kind of do a little hammer on. Well, it'd be like a hammer off actually. And for some reason, when you play that extra note, it kind of becomes a little easier like this. But the trick is play it like that and then stop playing it that way. Let me try to illustrate. See, the first time I did it, the second time I didn't. 3, 4. See? And like I always say, just make it feel good. John doesn't do it precisely the same way in the recorded version either. So there's a bit of latitude there as long as the feel is there. Remember, the feel is paramount. Once you get that under your belt, the next part is dead simple because it's just G to G. Octaves, but just bump, bump, just right on the beat. And then we get into the tricky part. Let me play it. So what I was doing incorrectly in last week's video was that I was coming in a 16th note too early on the second octave. So after the G, the pattern goes, when I hit like this, let's pretend that that's the bass drum, or that's a hit on the beat. Now what I did in the video is I went, which doesn't sound bad, but it's just not slinky enough. There's just something about it. It sounds better the way John does it. So, not. One way in which you can think about that phrase to make it make a little more sense is if you could play it fast enough. Like, let's slow this down and let's say we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. And you went 1, 2. But then you didn't play the very first note like this. 1, 2. See, it's hard for me to do it without hitting something on the beat. There's another way to do it too. It goes in line with that imagination thing I was asking you to do a little bit ago. I was saying you could pretend you're going, but you're omitting the first note. Now, one way you could do it is to hit a ghost note right here, and that could be your beat 1. And then you follow that up with maybe a little hand slap here. So like slowly it would be. I'm not saying you have to do that hand slap, but it's a good way to keep you focused and on the beat. And so you can get that rhythm in your head to really absorb it. A way to sort of keep you centered. I hope you can see what I'm trying to explain there. Well, let's try that again. Okay. Here's another thing too. You can try to make it even more slinky by just very subtly sliding in and out of things. Like you could go something like that. As a matter of fact, we're kind of going to do that in this next section. Okay, let's move on. So after that, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to take a break and not do the, and you're just going to go E, F sharp, G, A. So let's try to play the whole revolution. Okay, so that just covers the first part of the verse. We're not done. There are more variations. It's a subtle variation, but it's basically just going. So D, C, A, and then the last time. So instead of just going, you're going to go down a half step on the second note. Simple. And here we go with the slinky thing I was saying. If you can manage to kind of subtly slide down on each of those top notes, you can get a real cool effect. I'm going to try to do it. No guarantees. Something like that. And that'll bring you into the chorus. So I'm going to try to play the whole first verse. Wish me luck. Okay, I'd say that was okay. All right, so now we're into the chorus. Let's take a drink. That's good stuff. For the chorus, you get a major break. And the only kind of difficult part is there are some ghost notes, but it's probably the easiest kind of ghost note you can do, and you don't really need to do it. And it goes like this. Notice that after you do the B flat, you don't hit the downbeat on the C. So it goes bump 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 bump. That's just a little tricky rhythm thing. Notes are simple though. And you just repeat it twice. So there's really nothing to it. The last time you do the chorus, there is something to it, but we'll get there. After that, we're going to go into another verse, which is not too different, so we're not going to go into that one. Then we're into another chorus, which again isn't too different. Then we're in the bridge. I'm going to play a little bit of the bridge because the bridge is actually what first led me to figure out the correct notes for the verse. He's kind of giving it away there. So let's go to the bridge. So like I said, it's just A to F. And you just kind of have to memorize where to change things up. I believe you do that 3 times. And then there's a slide up, a really cool slide up. And then that's when you're going to start to go. Boom, 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 boom. Let's listen for that. So. And then you repeat that twice, and on the third time, you do this. Let's listen. So on the third time, You don't just go. You go G to B flat to G. And you do that a couple times. Let's listen.
I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
And the third time you do that, you go. It's the same notes, G, B flat, G. But then you're going to go B flat, C. And then here's the part that I was mentioning earlier, kind of informed what he was doing in the verses. Listen for the notes here. See, it's going. Same notes as the verse. A, B, C, F. And then you go G octave, G octave, octave. You know, that's when the light bulb turned on in my brain and I said, wait, he's probably not going. Or even, he's probably gone. And then I listened more carefully and yeah, that's what he's doing. But here it's like a slow version of that. And then out of that, it's really simple. You just go. Bow on the A. And then you count in your head or listen to the hi-hat and we're back to a chorus. Now this chorus is pretty cool because there are some substitutions. The first half is exactly the same. Now the second time, listen. So instead of going, it goes. So it does this minor seventh sort of thing. D, A, C, A, G. Let's listen. Same thing there. And then, really cool lick to bring us out twice. And there, just to make the rhythm a little more tricky, he does hit the downbeat on the C, so it doesn't go. I think that would be a little more awkward, so he just went for it and just locked in with every bass drum there. And the notes on that are going to be, so just B flat like usual. Then you're going to start on, you're going to make a run starting on that same B flat and then do a chromatic run beginning on E flat. And then the same thing with the C. Starting on F, F, F sharp, G. So. And you're done. So there we are, late bar. Hope you learned something. Hope it was fun, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.